What is going on, button pushers? Welcome to the channel. My name's David. Today we're going to be talking about the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm. First of all, this is my experience using it for the very first time, as well as a few shots that we actually had while we were using it on a music video. Now, I am not the best one at car rigs. I actually don't run car rigs at all. I think this was my first time ever running a car rig, so it may be a little bit different from your first experience. Shout out to Mike for letting me use your Tilta Hydra Alien Arm to make this video and test it out and just really get to know the rig a bit. So we're not going to waste any time talking about anything else. We're just going to jump straight into the video, guys. So first of all, a few things I want to say about the Hydra Alien Arm. I thought I was going to hate it, but honestly, it's not that bad. It's pretty interesting, and it was really fun running with it. Now, if it's your first time ever running a car rig or first time even using this, it's going to take a little bit to set up. Tilta's not the best one when it comes down to their manuals. The manual literally doesn't really help you at all. It literally didn't help me. We looked up a YouTube video. The YouTube videos from Tilta are a lot better than the manuals themselves, which is a little bit concerning, but at least they have videos. So in the really nice case that they provide you, you're gonna get 3 suction cups, a few bars to, mount different things. You're gonna get straps, you're gonna get the V-mount battery plate, you're gonna get the the arm with the bounce that isn't the gimbal that stabilizes movements a bit, and some counterweights. There's a lot that goes into it, so it can get a little bit confusing, but once you put everything together, it looks pretty cool. Another thing to keep in mind though is that the payload of the actual car mount itself is 16 pounds, while the Ronin S2 has a payload of 10 pounds. So if you plan on using the Ronin S2, your camera is going to have to be 10 pounds, which is definitely able to be supported by the car mount. But if you're not using the Ronin S2 and you're just going to run it straight off of the car mount itself, you have to keep in mind that it's a payload of 16 pounds, which allows you to get a little bit heavier, but it's still pretty lightweight compared to what other car mounts can have. Now, don't take my exact word for it because I am not a car mount specialist. I don't really know too much about car mounts. I have been looking into it, and a car mount is something that I definitely want to get invested into, but I don't know if the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm is going to be the one for me, especially because of the payload, and I definitely want to run bigger rigs on cars. I think the best thing about the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm is that you have so many different options of how to mount it on the car. It's not really restricted to one, and it's super lightweight because sometimes different car mounts take so many different pieces, but in the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm, everything fits into that tiny case, which isn't really that tiny, but it's not as big as it could be, so everything fits in the case, and you can rig it in so many different ways based on what they give you. So I think the modularity of it itself is really nice to have, especially because it works with the Ronin S2. And the Ronin S2 itself is already portable. Because, with like other car mounts and car jibs and whatnot, we'll be running with the Movi Pro or the Movi XL or the Ronin 2, which are huge rigs and for heavy cameras. But if you're looking to do something smaller, if you're looking to do something lightweight, easy setup, the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm maybe mixed with like a Komodo or even, a DSLR would make a great setup. But now when it comes down to the actual footage of the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm, is it good? So when setting up the Hydra Alien Arm, after we got everything set up, we put on the R5 for the initial test. Now, I just want to let you guys know that we actually didn't have too much time to rig with the car mount and play around with it on the music video shoot or the tests, and so we were not able to rig up too many different scenes. We pretty much did the same kind of setup right on the driver's side door to get that shot. We weren't able to mount it on the front. We weren't able to mount it, hanging off the back of the car to track a car shot. It was just really scarce on time for what we were shooting, so we weren't able to test pretty much, too much. But from the footage we have, I can speak a bit about it. I would highly recommend using the Raven Eye transmission if you are using the Ronin S2 on the rig, because if not, yes, the GPS will track you really well when you're going on turns and whatnot, but it still goes off a bit, and that's something you really have to keep in mind. The Raven Eye transmission is going to do a lot for you, especially when you don't have complete control of the rig itself when it's hanging off the side of a car. Using that Raven Eye transmission will allow you to see everything, will allow you to control the gimbal itself, and really just gives you more of what you want, more control. And that's always a really good thing to have when it comes down to filmmaking, because if something is out of your control, it might not go as planned. And that's kind of what happened with us. Now, we didn't use the Raven Eye transmission. at all. Not for the music video, not for the tests, so these shots aren't the best. But on top of that, there's also a lot of shake, and that shake is something that you have to keep in mind, especially when you're rigging, especially when you're driving, and just in general, because that's going to be in your shot. And honestly, I felt like at some points it might have been better not to use the Ronin S2 at all and just mount it directly onto the car mount so that it would shake with the car, and we get a little bit less shaky footage, but we would still get some of that car shake in there. And the ultimate idea is to get out all of that camera shake. So I'm editing the video right now, and I just wanted to add to this because I forgot to mention it before, that wind is a factor into how much camera shake you get, as well as the bumpy road, as well as how fast the car is moving in general. All of that is going to really affect how much shake there is on the camera. So you really have to take all of that into account, because if you're looking for super smooth shots, you might not want to shoot on a bumpy road, but sometimes that might be a really good aesthetic for you. But it's really up to you, and you really have to kind of take into account what do you want. So all of that really has control of what your shot's going to look like, so just something to add to it. Of course, we did have the, I don't even know what it's called. What is it called? Vibration isolator arm. That if we had used the vibration isolator arm, I feel like a lot of those movements would be eliminated. But based on what Tilta was telling us to do, the isolating arm was not included in the specific setup that we were trying to do. So I feel like in a way it just was inevitable. I feel like those camera shakes were just supposed to be there, and we couldn't really do too much about it. For rigs like hanging off the car, I feel like those shots would have been absolutely amazing if we had the time to get them, like isolating the arm, just like they did in the preview for the Ronin S, where they talked about, you know, the car mount, the tracking, the transmission. I feel like those would have been really, really nice to have. And the isolation arm would really, really take out all of those shaky bounces and movements. As far as what we got, we did not have all of that. However, even so, the footage came out pretty good, especially in that initial test. The initial test, the footage held up really nice, and I was a little bit scared. We forgot to use the strap to wrap around the car door, so I was holding on to the mount itself the whole time, just in case the suction cups did fail. But honestly, the suction cups held up really, really, really well. Like, they're super, super tight. Couldn't even try to pull them off because that's just how well they work. But again, the manual doesn't speak too much about that, so watching the video that I watched might have been the best way to help set up, or else you might have messed up and lost your camera. Also, one thing to keep in mind that my friend actually told me, I didn't have any experience with it though, is that even though I said that the suction cups are really strong, he actually told me that he heard that some of the suction cups were failing. So definitely strap in your camera if you're using this. You get an extra strap if you have to, because you know it's a lot of money hanging off the side of a car, and it's pretty exhilarating. It's pretty scary. It's kind of like flying a $2,000 drone in the sky, and at any moment it could crash, like I did in Florida. You know, just be careful out there and make sure that you are super secure with your cameras. Keep in mind that if you are getting this rig, you do have to buy some V-mounts. The V-mounts are going to be used to power any accessories, even the camera, but most importantly, it's going to be used to power the Ronin S2 itself. It's going to come with a 2-pin 2D tap cord for you so that you can get that power straight to the gimbal. Now, aside from that, honestly, the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm, I feel like it's a super cool, super interesting, and super simple setup for very lightweight rigs, especially for things like the Red Komodo, for DSLRs, for mirrorless cameras, and it's definitely something that I would love to have, but I don't know if I'm willing to drop the money for it, because I feel like I would rather have something that can handle bigger rigs, you know, something that can handle a lot more, especially whatever I throw at it. Because as some of you know, I did get a Gemini. So, you know, I dropped a video on the Gemini. This Gemini sitting right there. Boop. And, you know, sometimes I might want to run the Gemini on it. Maybe I'll run the Komodo on it. But at the same time, I just feel like the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm does have its limits, and I don't want to have those limits up too much. But for the price, for the things it can do, for its modularity, for its simple setup, for the potential to do so many different rigs just from one little thing that they give you for that price, it's really, really good. It's actually really amazing. So if you're running those lightweight setups, if you're looking to get these quick shots, these simple setups, I feel like the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm is the perfect thing for that. But it's just kind of annoying in the sense that it is made specifically for the Ronin S2, and of course you can not use the Ronin S2 and mount it directly, but when it comes down to those hanging shots for those isolating arm stuff, I feel like you'd really just need the Ronin S2 for that, and it just doesn't work without it. So that's something to keep in mind. Would I recommend the product? Definitely. But I honestly haven't used it as much as some other people, so if you guys are just coming straight to my video looking for information about it, I feel like going to other people might be a little bit better. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. That's gonna be all for today's video, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what would you guys like a video on next, or if you have your own experiences with the Tilta Hydra Alien Arm. Let me know in the comments below and let me know what you think. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep pushing the buttons, guys, and I'll see you then. Peace.